Hello. This podcast covers three separate modules: research practice, the language dissertation, and the Langlit dissertation. The reason they're together in one cast is because they have quite a close relationship with each other, and so it makes sense to talk about them at the same time. My name is Dr. Richard Steadman-Jones. I'm a member of the Langlit team, but I have experience of research methods across both the language and language literature areas. So I'm going to be working with students who are working right across those areas for research methods and the dissertation. I'm also interested in helping students become independent learners. A part of my approach to teaching is to think about how we as members of staff can help students to become more and more independent in their relation to the material they're studying. And of course that's partly what a dissertation is about. It's about developing an independent research project of your own. So it makes sense for me to work with you on this and to try to help you become increasingly autonomous as somebody who develops their own research. There are a number of key points to make about the research methods and the dissertations. The first thing to say is that research methods takes place in semester 1, and the dissertations, both the language and Langlit dissertations, take place in semester 2. You have to take research methods if you plan to do a dissertation. So if you're interested in doing either the language or the Langlit dissertation in semester 2, you do need to take research methods in semester 1. They go together as a sort of pair. But it is possible to take research methods on its own without going on to do a dissertation, and some students do that each year. I think the majority do go on from research methods to a dissertation, but there are always some people who just are sort of curious to do something independent, to do a bit of independent research, but not take it all the way on to do a dissertation. And it is possible just to do research methods if that's you. If you do both, you effectively spend 2 modules working towards your final dissertation. Throughout research methods and whichever of the 2 dissertation modules you take, you're working on the same project more or less all the way through, and finally submitting the completed work at the very end of level 3. A few more key points. For both research methods and the dissertation, whichever of the 2 you do, you work on a topic of your own choice. You need to identify some area, some kind of topic of inquiry that you really want to spend the year on. And it is an excellent opportunity to develop a project that's of real personal interest to you. You can pick something that's really intriguing to you, that you really want to spend time on, and develop a project under your own steam, working on it sort of throughout the year. You will have a supervisor, a member of staff who will work with you on the project, give you advice, give you guidance, read your work. So you're not left entirely to your own devices, but it is something that you do fairly sort of autonomously, and you take control of what you want to study. You will need to write a short proposal that's around 300 words explaining your topic before the summer vacation, and we can give you more information about that if you express an interest in doing this. That's really so that we know what area you're interested in working with, and we can try to match you up with a suitable supervisor in good time. In developing your proposal, it's a good idea to think about the modules you've enjoyed in the degree so far, and maybe get some advice from whoever taught those. So if there's a particular module or a particular couple of modules that you really enjoyed and where you think you'd like to do your dissertation in that area, it's not a bad idea to go along to the office hours of the relevant member of staff and just talk through what might be a good idea, what ideas you've got, what advice they can give you before you complete your proposal and submit it. I'll talk now about assessment. Let's talk first of all about assessment for research methods, the module that takes place in semester 1. This has 3 forms of assessment. First of all, assessment 1 is a 1,200 word research bibliography with notes on the material you've chosen, and it's worth 20%. It's important that you do quite a lot of independent reading towards your dissertation, and so this is a way for us to have a look at what you've been reading, to work with you on it, and to check that you can control a bibliography and present it properly. The second assessment is a shortish piece of writing, around 800 words, which is a project statement that explains the work as it now stands sort of halfway through semester one, how the project is shaped up, what it is that you're looking at, what it is that you plan to do. And assessment 3 is a 2,000 word pilot study where you explore either samples of data or, if you're doing something more in the language literature area, texts that are similar to those that you will be looking at in your final dissertation. So it's almost a dry run, a kind of practice writing the sort of analysis that you might put into your final dissertation, and that is worth 60% of research methods. All three activities are supposed to be helpful for somebody who is going to go on and develop a dissertation in semester 2. They're all things that kind of check that you're on track, that you're developing your project in the right way. The assessment for both of the dissertation modules in semester 2 is the same. You need to write a dissertation, a long piece of writing, of not more than 10,000 words, and that is worth 100% of the total for that module. In addition, you need to help organise a small dissertation conference with the other students, and you give a short talk, not more than 10 minutes at the conference, which will take place during the course of the second semester. This isn't marked, but it is compulsory. We do expect you to do it, and in order to get through the module and have your dissertation marked, you do need to participate in the conference. A few words on prerequisites. You must have taken or be in the process of taking a module that is relevant to the topic of your dissertation. So, if you want to work in sociolinguistics, you really ought to have taken the sociolinguistics module in advance. If you're in doubt about this, send me an email about it. We can discuss it, we can see whether you've done something suitable. Don't worry too much about it, but we do really prefer it if you have taken a module that will prepare you properly for the dissertation. We also expect that students taking the dissertation will have an average mark of at least 63 at level 2. The work is quite independent, and it's best if you are getting decent marks and not struggling too much. But we can be flexible about that. There is some flexibility, so if in doubt, please contact me and we'll have a word about that. Here's my contact information. There's my email address, r.d.steadmanjones@sheffield.ac.uk. I do have a Twitter account, and you can follow me there if you want to. And if you want a face-to-face chat, contact me for details on my office hour, or email me to find another time if you can't make my office hours.